Hello, Taurus. Welcome back to Mind, Body, Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for the month of September for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising signs. You know already it's a general reading. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it's just not your reading. Don't try to fit it in. Don't stretch it or so on. Use your own intuition and your inner wisdom to judge what messages apply to you and let the rest go. Okay, Taurus, so we're gonna start with Heindel Tarot. Just got this deck recently. I'm fascinated by it. I really like it. But we're gonna go through, we're gonna clarify with the way tarot. I'm gonna pull out afterwards an oracle card from Rumi. Okay, so your current energy, we have two cards, is the Aeon and the Magician, which is a 20 and a 1. Ooh la la. Look at these two cards. So here you have the Aeon, which is like in the traditional, in the way tarot, this would mean judgment, right? And here is the Magician, which is the number 1. What's missing in between are 21, which is the world, and 0, which is the Fool. It's quite a jump in here. I'm looking at these eyes coming out from seemingly nowhere. These are actually two eyes, and there's the moon here. The symbolisms in these cards are very, very strong. But yeah, we'll go through that. Let's pull out the rest of the cards. Okay, so that's your current energy. What is in your challenge position? What is it that you're working with really this month? This is kind of how I see the challenge, you know, like when you see, there's these traditional spreads and they call it a challenge position. I'm not sure if I mean, yeah, you can call it that, but it's more like, what is it I'm working with? What's the energy that is illuminated so I can learn how to accommodate? So let's see what's that. What are you working with, Taurus, in September? Not the whole deck, I'm sorry. Okay, September 2019. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Okay, just gonna pull them like this. Mother of Swords in the South. That's the Queen of Swords. This is your advice. Harmony, which is the Two of Stones, which in this case 2 of Pentacles. And where is this taking us? Victory, 6 of Wands. Beautiful. And bottom of the deck is your underlying energy is the 10 of Cups, success. Ooh la la, Taurus. Not bad at all. Not too shabby. Okay, before we even go deep into this, I want to pull out the clarifiers. So why is the Judgment and the Magician here as your current energies? 2 of Cups. Love, 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 baby. All right, so why is the Queen of Swords as the energy that you're working with? Is what is difficult for you right now? Okay. 8 of Swords, okay, that's why. Queen of Wands as your advice with the 2 of Stones. Interesting. And the 6 of Cups with the 6 of Wands as your future energy. Beautiful. And to go along with your theme, Temperance for the 10 of Cups. Well, all right, Taurus. We're going deep here. Actually, no, let's start with the underlying energy. Just a second. I felt the need to burn stuff all day today. Maybe it's because of the full new moon in Virgo. Feel the need to clear the space a lot. Yeah, today's Virgo new moon, and I noticed that last month I ended up doing a few readings in the day of the new moon as well, so I find that interesting. Okay, so what is it that you're working with? What is your underlying energy? What is the general theme of your month? It's hard to achieve success, but it's more about emotional success. It's like, what makes you happy? What is it that you really need in order to be happy? Not what you think you need, not what you've been conditioned to believe that you need, but what is it that you really need? And with Temperance, having here working together with the energy of the Ten of Cups, it's fantastic because you learn how to get there. Temperance is about like really going into experimenting with it, really. Like taking a little bit of this, putting a little bit from this cup to the other cup. Let's see what happens. Having a foot on the solid, on the ground, and a foot in the water. Being both in the world, in the physical world, but as well like into your emotional self or into your intuition. Learning how to use both and learning how to where you're shifting your focus. And having the Temperance here, you see like he's got this triangle, which is actually the sign of fire in alchemy. And he's the alchemist. He's the archetype of the alchemist, this angel. The focus is on the heart. So all transformation, all that happens, no matter what it is that you do, needs to come from the heart. So this is what it tells you, like to know what you need, what you want, what you really need in order to be happy, is to operate into the world, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, from your heart. That's your compass. That's how you learn. And how do we do that? Well, we literally focus on the heart. We focus on the heart space. We can put a hand on the heart when I'm trying to figure out, oh, what am I feeling right now? Or how am I really feeling about this? Oh, am I feeling offended? Or am I feeling good about this? This decision-making process, my emotional state, my all these things. It's like really connecting in, like taking a moment and taking a break from the mind, like just thinking, calculating, and try to stay in the heart space for a while, and maybe ask myself a clear question. Okay, do I want this? Do I need this? Is this what I'm really looking for, or am I settling for something here? Or I secretly somehow sabotage myself, and we're getting there. Anyhow, it's great. You're getting there. You have really, really good energy working with you. There's like the Ten of Cups energy and the Temperance energy. Use it, my lovelies. Use it, because it's going to help you. Okay. And your current energy, okay, this is how I see this actually. You have the Two of Cups. So it has to do with balancing out two aspects of yourself. Balancing out like the masculine and the feminine. It can be very internal, but it can also be manifested outside of yourself in relationships, in the way it can be a romantic relationship. This looks a lot like a romantic relationship, but it can be any kind of a soulmate connection where two souls are really working together in order to get closer to that place of self-love. And these two people, when they come up into this union, they are two opposites, so it's the masculine and the feminine, and they are they're offering what they have in the cup. They don't come with an empty cup. It's not like, please save me, or please fill up my cup because mine is half empty, or what do you have. It's more like getting to know each other. Like, this is what's in my cup, what do you have in yours? I want to taste a little bit, have a little taste of mine, and if you offer some of yours, fine as well. It's like not from a place of dependency, but a place of exploration and curiosity. And by the way, the Temperance talks a lot about curiosity as well. I'm gonna put this a little bit lower. And you see, like, I feel like when I see this card, like the symbolism here, it's fantastic. But you see that this is the Judgment. You have the eye in the sky looking at whatever happens here on the earth, which is like damn intense. And you have this, it looks like a river, but it's not really. It feels like the earth cracked open, and you have these like deep scars, which is like, one shows this water, which is the feminine, I think, the ethereal world, the more like unconscious. And then here you have the fire, which can be very destructive in a sense, but if they work together, if they're balanced, if you balance the two, like, this is what the Temperance does. It's balancing up, it's working with the energy, knowing how much of this can you use or how much of this can you use, so you have a balanced usage of the energy. The both of them, if taken into extremes, if I'm using too much water, then I'm gonna drown. If I'm using too much fire, I'm gonna burn. How do I keep my home warm and hydrated, using the right amount of the resources that I have in my hand? And the Magician knows exactly this. So, my darlings, this is exactly what you're learning right now. And you're learning it somehow connected to this relationship. So look deeply. Like, if this is a relationship that you find yourself in, or if it's like really you identify two different aspects of yourself that are coming into union, that are coming together, that are coming to an understanding, they find the bridges between two aspects of yourself and so on. It's funny, it comes to me like a story from a few years ago. I wasn't even into spirituality back then. I was somewhere in London, and I witnessed some weird encounter with a random stranger who apparently went through a breakup and wanted to commit suicide. And then somebody else, another person, there were two young males, and apparently like noticed him wanting to jump in the river or something like that, and stopped him. And they were just walking around, and I ended up bumping into them under a bridge, and we just stopped for a beer. And well, it's a long story. It was very interesting because initially I actually thought they were friends forever, but they just met that night, and it was through all that dramatic thing. And we ended up spending actually quite a few hours together. And then I saw this person going from a place of like really grounding and understanding himself and understanding what he's been through and what craziness is about. He was really sharing about this. And then I think like somebody offered a joint or something like this, and this was a complicated issue within himself, because his girlfriend, who treated him like shit and dumped him and cheated on him, she hated him smoking weed. So suddenly he felt so bad about himself. He was like, no, I want to smoke it, but then no, this is me being bad. And then he went in a complete trip, like he went in La La Land, and I couldn't reach him anymore. And it was very interesting because it was like an enactment of the way of two parts of ourselves like inhabit the same body, and they take turns. They don't seem to know each other. They don't seem to get in touch with each other. And if this two of cups is like really having these two parts of ourselves really meet, having the talk, getting to know each other, getting excited about this event, and so on. And I remember like the analogy that came to mind that night as I was going home. I was thinking like, how am I applying this to myself actually, and how I have my inner splits and so on. And I remember like I was thinking like how old empires were how holding grudges for generations, and then they would marry their kids, and then they would make peace, and yeah, they would like build a bigger empire or whatever, hold some sort of agreement from that. And the idea came that, you know, we have to marry the kids of our mind, okay? Bridge up, we need to build bridges. And I feel like this is pretty much what you're doing right now. You're taking the feminine and the masculine, you're taking the parts of the mind. This is emotional energy though, so it has to look with how does it make you feel, the feelings that you're investing. But it takes you through this huge transformation, right? The child here, like that's floating in. This is the center of the reading of this card, really, and it signifies hope. It signifies that you are transforming. You allow the parts of you from the past that don't serve you anymore to give birth to something new. So you give birth to something else into the world, something that from you, that you used to know, from all the energies that had been present within you, but they're not you. It's transformation. It's really, really transformation. And the magician is being empowered, is number one. It started from zero, but it's starting from a place of pure understanding. Look how all the eyes here, like it's full of eyes, this card. Is this old man who seems all wise there, and he's got the sword, he's got the here the spear is the one suit, it's got the cup, it's got the stone, Mercury here hanging out, the moon. He has understanding of everything. He is creating a new reality. He's going from this baby to painting a complete new story. So you're in that power right now. And it's the story of you, of what is it that you need to get happy, to be happy. Because if we are happy, if we work with our own happiness, by the way, the goal is not really to be happy, but to get what we need in order to feel satisfied, to grow, to be aligned to the universe, with being in sync, really. And that's not necessarily what we consider happiness from, I don't know, Hollywood or romantic novels. But yeah, you're learning the tools, and you're going through a transformation. Now, what's challenging for you is this: keeping your cool mind in this. The Mother of Swords in the South, the Queen of Swords, the archetype of the Queen of Swords is somebody who's like really, really clear of what's happening within herself. She's been through everything. She's suffered a lot. She learned from her pain. She can relate to each and every story because she lived each and every story, pretty much. And she's like, a note for those of you that this makes sense, do look it up though. I do not know about this archetype. It may have, I think it has to do with the Egyptian cosmology, but I'm sorry, I can't really help you with that. But if it means something to you, go for it. I will study more about these archetypes, but I'm just thinking about the Queen of Swords in general. The Queen of Swords energy is, you know, somebody who's like knows how to put clear boundaries. She knows how to, what she feels. She's aware of her mind, like all the stories that had begun through her mind and her terrible stories and narratives, and she's made peace with them. She's not in this empowered place of the Eight of Swords. And maybe like this is what you're working with, like understanding that you are in power, but you have the power of putting boundaries. You have the power of communication. Swords are about clarity and communication. They have about the mind and communication. And the Virgo season has to do with communication. Mother of Swords in itself, again, it's the south. I find that quite intriguing. It's like, yeah, sorry. I'm I was contemplating the fact that I always kind of like think of the swords as like I'm thinking, okay, this is the earth, and then you have the next layer is the water, which is the emotion, then the next layer is the swords, which is the mind, and the next layer is the fire, which is the spiritual. And somehow having the swords in the south, I find it quite interesting. And because I always think of the south as when you read a map, it's somewhere down, you know. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what insights come from that. See, she has 3 points that are important here. Here is the throat chakra, which has to do with communication. And here is like the root chakra, and it's also shown at the legs, which means being really, really grounded. I don't really get what happens with this other lady here. Sorry, I'm still fascinated by these cards, and I can't say I fully understand them in terms of the intention that was held as they were created. But I like a lot the drawings, and I'm fascinated by the new symbolism that is involved in here. Getting over that, what is important to understand here is the dynamics between, okay, I'm empowered, I know who I am, I know how to act, I know how to put my boundaries, and I know how to communicate them. I know what I need, and I'm doing that for myself, and I am happy to be there with you and help you as long as it doesn't overextend my own needs, you know. As opposed to the Eight of Swords, which is this whole feeling blinded, folded, feeling like life happens to me. I'm sort of a victim of my emotions. I'm a victim of what happens outside of myself, and I'm the feelings of helplessness, really. And these dynamics it's showing up right now, and this is being illuminated for you this month. And the way to work with that is coming from your advice. It's harmony, the Two of Stones and the Queen of Wands. The Two of Stones, you have like this. I like that this deck is actually from the Crowley's school of thought. And it has a slightly different significance than to the original decks. I don't know why I call them original, because I started with wait. But the point of the Two of Stones, like this, you have this whole concept of harmony. Who normally, like in the other deck, it's in most of the decks, it's depicted as the juggler, like playing with the pentacles in the air, right? But here you have like these two stones like floating there, and you have these things happening on the background. There's this opening. We don't really know what this is, but the stones are there. They're floating somehow. They're in perfect balance. And the Queen of Wands is the archetype of powerful, confident, spiritual mother of beliefs, really. The queens, both of the queens are like agents of the heart. And remember, you had this whole the temperance here that reminded you to stay centered in your heart when you do your experiments about life, the universe, and everything. And I think that's why the Queen of Wands shows up here. Like when you want to work with this energy, understanding like how to save yourself, how to bring yourself from this state of mind where you're like a victim of your own mind here, where you're trapped in your thinking process, in analysis, and you end up more blinded than actually more enlightened. And how to get into the Mother of Swords energy, like being more centered in your heart and have the mind work for your heart. And you have to balance like the fire and the air energy within you, the Queen of Wands and the actually all energies, really. but somehow it's this motif of the fire and water, and then now it's fire and air, and there's the earth as well with the Two of Stones. The point is that, yeah, it's pointing you at balance. It's pointing you at the Two of Stones, the Pentacles in general, talk about earth and feeling grounded. Keep your body in balance. Keep your physical reality in balance and harmony. Oh, I've put this backwards. Interesting. The Queen of Wands, she's confident and she knows exactly her value and her worth, because she knows that she doesn't need to be perfect. She accepts things for what they are, and that's part of her charm. She understands things beyond what's like explicable or able to be communicated, but she doesn't need to communicate everything that she sees, because she's not necessarily like, okay, I see everything, I do it, I say it, and I'm making you aware. It's more of like the black cat shows that if she has access to different types of knowledge sometimes, but the cats, hold the knowledge, and they can sometimes act from it or not, but it is not necessarily about, okay, I have to inform you about this, and this, or how I see you. It is good to communicate our boundaries, but we don't need to be like, I don't know, warriors for making people aware of their shadows. I go into the world and I tell people, oh, you have this shadow and you have this shadow and you have this, nobody asks, but never mind. The Queen of Swords can be a little bit there. The Queen of Wands, she knows her strengths, she knows her weaknesses as well, and she knows how to accept everything and put it all into play in a way that makes sense to her. That's why she's confident. She's so confident also because she's so grounded. She's in perfect harmony with her body. She's in perfect harmony with her emotions. She's in perfect harmony with her mind. That's why I told you, like, it's like the earth, and you have the water, the mind, and then you have the fourth suit, which is the wands. So in a way, I see the king and a queen of wands, that they had masters or the other suits, that they are able to be masters of the spiritual suit. And this is taking you to, baby, victory and service. The sixes are about service. The Six of Wands is like, you start being, first of all, seeing it for yourself. And the the Six of Cups can have to do with memory and past and emotions. So you start to see for yourself your resilience. You start to see for yourself how you grew from the past, the past self that you've been. You start to see for yourself and celebrating yourself. The Six of Wands is about celebration. It's about like victory. You understand your growth, you understand your process, you understand that it makes sense to go through everything that you've been in order to give you the knowledge and understanding and the growth that you are witnessing right now within yourself. Having these two parts of you coming together, having yourself giving birth to this whole new version of yourself, and being into this empowered position of the magician, having the 10 of cups and the temperance working with you. It's amazing. It's very, very strong. It's very powerful. And you start seeing it. You start seeing like how amazing you really are. Sometimes we're like so focused on our downfalls and things that we don't work for us, or I can't. And it's fine. I mean, like, no judgment there. We go through that. It's part of the process. It's part of the cycle. This is how we confront ourselves. This is how we end up like finding the parts of us that are being stuck and help them. We need to hear them first. We need to see them, right? And if you look back, I don't know, if you look back to your past and remember like how limited you were actually and how empowered you are right now due to the self-awareness that you've developed in time through your inner work, you may feel very proud and victorious and happy, and you will feel less critical of this side of you that says I can't and I don't know how to cope with this, and I'm confused, and I'm helpless and hopeless, and so on and so on and so on. You will find that you can only help this part of you through love, and that you're doing it. You know it already. You know this already with the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is about kindness and sharing from a place of love. And the Temperance tells you also like stay focused on your heart. And I think in this case has to do with maybe relationships, but also like really bringing home different aspects of yourself, bringing them together. Maybe the mature you with your inner child that's trapped somewhere, and you end up doing this. You need to rescue this person, nobody else will. And I think you're understanding this, and you're understanding from your relationships so far, the way you've been processing them, the way you've been showing up, and your expectations, and what is it that you put in and what came out of it. It's beautiful, Taurus. You'll see this is awareness of your results, and other people might see it too. You might and have people start telling you like, whoa, you've accomplished a lot, oh wow, I see this and this amazing stuff in you. Don't shy out of that. Take it. Be open to receive compliments and be open to receive love and appreciation, because you deserve it. You really do. You've done so much work and such deep work to get to where you are right now. So please congratulate yourself. I definitely congratulate you now. No matter the outcome of this month, like just being where you are right now as you are with this energy is absolutely fabulous. So please keep that in mind. All right, sending lots of love. I hope that you resonated with this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you here soon. Have a wonderful September, Taurus.